Good evening. Welcome to Talking Politics. I'm your host this evening, Mia Skanga, and tonight we're going to be meeting with some of the activists in Jersey City who are opposed to a pipeline being built by Spectra Energy here in Jersey City. With me, I have Jeff Kaplowitz, who is going to take us on a tour of the proposed route. Jeff, thanks so much for being on our show.
Thank you very much for having me.
You're quite welcome. So why don't you tell our audience a little bit about your background?
Well, I was born in Jersey City, and I've been living here all my life, and I've been a realtor in Jersey City since 1987, specifically in commercial real estate since 1990. And I've been a community activist for quite a long time. I've served on the Jersey City Planning Board and the Jersey City Environmental Commission since from 1994 to 2002.
Oh, that's quite a stretch then. So you really are familiar with the geographic and all the development.
Absolutely.
All right, wonderful. So we're here near, I guess this is near Greenville Yards, right?
That's
at the
correct.
Tropicana plant?
This is the southernmost portion of Jersey City near Bayonne, what's considered the Greenville Yards on the Hudson River, all the way back to Caven Point area in Ward F, where you have the industrial center of Jersey City, global cars, Tropicana, which is a world-class distribution point for Tropicana. In fact, it's the largest one they have on the eastern seaboard other than Florida. Over 400 people work here.
Okay, wonderful. So the route, we're going to try and visualize it. By the way, all the maps are on their website, nogaspipeline.org. So you can check out the route there. And we're also going to take some footage of some of these locations that you're going to be talking about as well. So can you kind of describe the route, or how close is it to the Tropicana plant?
Well, it runs along what used to be 169 that has been now designated as Route 440 between the Turnpike and this site. It's pretty close. If there was an explosion of that pipeline, this facility would be affected. The reason is that the distribution line is 30 inches wide, which is about the same size as the line that exploded in San Bruno, California.
So we're talking about a 30-inch wide piece of pipe filled with natural gas.
Compressed natural gas.
Oh, compressed natural gas.
Which is very explosive. If there's an accident, you could see a fireball, a good 150 feet high, quarter-mile wide.
Right. And that San Bruno explosion killed, like a dozen? That was like a country town or a suburban compared to the density here in Jersey City, right?
Absolutely. That was, a suburban setting where you had cul-de-sacs, 1 and 2 family houses detached by quite a large space. Jersey City, you're talking about 10, 20, 40-story buildings, attached row houses. That same explosion here would amount to hundreds and hundreds of people dying.
All right, fine. So why don't we head off to our next point?
Sure.
Okay. All right, wonderful.
Now standing at the Caven Point Sports Complex, where there are soccer fields and baseball fields. As you can see, along the side of Caven Point Road is the New Jersey Turnpike, directly where the pipeline will be. So this is a severe problem and endangerment of the children of Jersey City. We're standing at Caven Point Road, looking west at the New Jersey Turnpike extension that runs from 14 to 14C, the Holland Tunnel. The pipeline will be running directly adjacent to this roadway. Should an explosion happen, most likely this roadway would collapse, causing unbelievable disaster and problems for Jersey City. As we pan to the east, down this road is the Port Liberté condo complex, which is approximately about 2,000 units, and it's only about a half completed. So you could probably see about another 2,000 units there, which would be affected by any explosion. We're standing at the entrance of Liberty State Park on Morris Pessin Drive. To the south, we can have a beautiful view of the Verrazano Bridge. As we look south, we have another view of Port Liberté, the condo development site that we talked about earlier. Now, as we start panning towards the west, right behind me is the Liberty Golf Course, which is an internationally renowned PGA tournament, which last year sponsored by Barkley, where Tiger Woods played. Behind the golf course is the direction of the pipeline along the New Jersey Turnpike.
We're here at Liberty State Park, and with me I have Dale, who is the founder of the NoGasPipeline.org website, as well as movement against this pipeline. So, Dale, tell us a little bit about the history of this. How did this all get started?
Well, back this past winter, Councilman Fulop got in touch with me and asked me to get in touch with Senator Lautenberg's office, which I did. And because I'm a member of the Harsmus Cove Neighborhood Association, we had Steve and Chris Summerhays from Senator Lautenberg's office come to speak about this pipeline being proposed by Spectra Energy to come through Bayonne, Jersey City, and to touch upon Hoboken before it goes back to Manhattan. And the more I studied the information on this pipeline, I felt that we needed to organize the community and have a central focus of how people could find out information about the Spectra Energy pipeline. So we started with a Google group. Then after the Google group, we then looked to form a Facebook group. And then I met a friend of mine, also from Harsmus Cove, Stephen Musgrave, and he builds sites professionally, and so we got involved with what we could do to help stop the pipeline. We've worked with the mayor's office in producing in the past a citywide event at Lowe's Theater, screening the documentary film Gasland, which was an award winner at Sundance, all about fracking, which is about drilling for gas, and we thought that that would be one of the aspects to bring to people's attention why the need for a natural gas pipeline going through Jersey City. We found that the pipeline, which originates about 3,000 miles from here in the Gulf and in Texas, will come through Linden, New Jersey, will go direct to Staten Island where they have a metering station, and then they're bringing it back overland through Bayonne and Jersey City and Hoboken, because it's cheaper to do that. Last year they paid out almost $1 billion in shareholder dividends, and they don't want to impact that shareholder's profit. So we said, why not instead, as an alternative, once you get to Staten Island, go straight up the Hudson River and connect to Gansevoort at Con Ed's facility at 16th Street, since this particular pipeline, as the mayor said, it's all benefiting New York City, but Jersey City is taking on all the risk. And so that's why we decided to become involved.
All right, wonderful. So the beneficiaries are the skyline behind us.
Yes, that New York City directly behind us. Mm-hmm. And, of course, the pipeline is off coming to the right at Staten Island, and they could be coming straight up the Hudson River to connect past the financial center here up to 16th Street, which is the part of the West Village getting into the Chelsea area called Gansevoort. And instead, they want to do it the cheapest way and put people at risk in Jersey City. And, you know, it's interesting because of the fact that we share the same density as San Francisco, over 16,000 people per square mile. So we're much more dense than people even imagine, and I don't think San Francisco would contemplate bringing a pipeline through that area.
Right. Wonderful. We're here with Stephen, and he is the co-founder of the NoGasPipeline.org group. So, Stephen, how did you get involved in this group?
Well, it was at that same meeting last winter with Dale Hardman at the Harsmus Cove Association meeting when Stephen Fulop came to address us about the pipeline. It'd been on my mind for the first half of last year, and then I was looking for information about it in advance of the August 4th FERC hearing that happened over the summer, and I just couldn't find information. Wasn't readily accessible, and I thought, well, I have skills that can help this effort along in spreading the word so that people could more easily gain access to the threat of the pipeline. Where is the pipeline? Where is it going? Documentation on pipeline failures and so forth. So I worked closely with Dale to build out the website, build a narrative that talks about the pipeline, talks about the threat, and most importantly, the call to action. What can I do to do my part in stopping this pipeline? And that was social media on Facebook and Twitter and an email alert database we've put together. We've been quite effective in spreading the word. we've seen exponential growth in the Facebook fans and so forth. And then it was in September really catalyzed the whole effort when I woke up one morning and heard on my clock radio about the explosion in San Bruno. That's an area I'm very familiar with. I grew up in the Bay Area. I lived in San Francisco for 5 years. I drove by that area twice a day on my commute. I shopped in that area. I knew that area. I have friends of friends who were directly affected by it. So that really catalyzed things in my mind, and we really got to work at that point in really getting people involved with social media and so forth. And if there's one parting word with that, it's to go on our site, nogaspipeline.org, and sign up for email alerts, sign up to volunteer, call Christie. We have a call to action there to call Governor Christie to get him to intervene. You can also be a friend on Facebook. Go to our page, facebook.com, No Gas Pipeline, and click like at the top so you can stay in touch and stay informed. And so when there is something to do, when there is action to be taken, you'll be ready and informed.
Wonderful.
We are standing in front of the Liberty Science Center in Liberty State Park. To my left is Liberty State Park off of Burma Road. As I said, behind me is Liberty Science Center, which is a 55,000 square foot museum. To my right is the New Jersey Turnpike with an exit of 14C right here. The gas line is going to run adjacent along the turnpike between the Liberty Science Center, the New Jersey Turnpike, and the light rail system. What's important about this site is that the Liberty Science Center has a huge amount of children coming here every day. Not only is it one of the major attractions in Liberty State Park, but the state of New Jersey. Every day there are tour buses of grammar school and high school students coming here. Should an explosion happen, they would be in danger. We are now looking across the street from the Liberty Science Center to the Liberty Humane Association for Animals. The property is owned by Jersey City and it's operated by a nonprofit organization which is beneficial for Jersey City. To my right is the Jersey City Sewerage Authority and the Jersey City Car Pound. These are very underutilized properties that the city is negotiating with developers to eventually build either a world-class hotel and entertainment center or residential development that would be facing Liberty State Park. Now, this site for the hotel and or the residential development and the Humane Society sit directly on top of the turnpike and the pipeline, which would probably cause any developer, any person wanting to live here to have second thoughts. We are standing at the Liberty Park and Ride outside of Liberty State Park, where the light rail transit connects from West Side Avenue, Bayonne, to downtown Jersey City into Hoboken. To the right of me is the New Jersey Turnpike, and as you can see, a light rail car is just pulling in. This is an important area. We're in Ward F, what's called the Lafayette section of Jersey City. This is a very underutilized area of Jersey City and underdeveloped, mostly empty land. For instance, the property that we're standing on right now is a parking lot of 1,200 parking spaces, where the city of Jersey City is now looking to talk to New Jersey Transit in regards to upscaling and upgrading this area to residential development, where the developers would be allowed to build 3 25-story residential towers with retail on the ground floor and provide the parking for the light rail system. This is a benefit both for New Jersey Transit and the city of Jersey City. Each one of these projects would probably cost around $100 million. So for a total of 3 buildings, we're talking in the neighborhood of $300 million to $500 million, and that would generate for the city of Jersey City approximately $3 million a year in taxes, or over a 20-year period, $60 million. Now, Spectra Energy has been stating that they're going to give Jersey City $40 million over a 20-year period throughout the entire city. 6 miles of going through some of the most densely populated residential neighborhoods in the country. And yet, on this one site, we're going to make more money than they're entirely going to give us. But we're going to take that money with the dangers and the risk of killing people. It is a bad deal for Jersey City, with so much potential in this neighborhood and future neighborhoods that we're going to see along our sites. In fact, if we look over in the direction to my right, there is a future development of 600 to 800 units. To my left, there's another development of a 25 to 30-story building, which would be another 400, 500 development unit. And this site, as I told you. There is so much more that the city can generate in temporary jobs in construction, in permanent jobs, in the retail spaces on the ground floor, in the aspect of people living here and spending their money here, in addition to the taxes that the city would get. We've left the Lafayette section, Ward F of Jersey City, and we've entered Ward E, the downtown section of Jersey City. We are standing on Jersey Avenue in front of the Jersey City Medical Center on part of the historic Morris Canal. What's important about this area is that the pipeline is going to be running within a 5-block distance of this medical center. Medical center is an important part of Jersey City because it is a regional emergency center. In fact, on 9/11, it was a triage center for the victims of that disaster. To the left of me, we have the light rail stop for Jersey Avenue and the future development of about 10,000 units, 500,000 square feet of retail, and 1 million square feet of commercial and hotels, all within the distance of this pipeline.
I have Kirsten and Leon, who live about a block away from here. We're at the Hamilton Park, at the Enos Jones Park, and you guys are here all the time?
We come here quite often. We've been residents of Hamilton Park for about 7 years now. My husband and I are raising 2 children in the neighborhood. We love it here, and we'd really like to be able to stay.
So what are your thoughts on the pipeline?
It's catastrophic, essentially. It's a huge problem that they want to put this 30-inch gas pipeline right through our neighborhood. It would affect our health, our safety, our quality of life.
Right. Now, the way the pipeline is projected to go would be on the other side of this baseball field here, right underneath the turnpike.
Yeah, where we're standing right now would be in the incineration radius.
Right.
So, I mean, we take our kids to play Little League here in the summer, and on any Saturday across the summer, there are 200 to 300 people in this park, 100 of whom are kids under 10. In the immediate neighborhood, you've got schools that are within the radius of the blast. You've got high density living area, and it's really just frightening the thought that this would happen. I mean, you see San Bruno a couple of weeks ago, and my house would be cinders.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, 9 people died in that explosion, and they were nothing like the density we have here in Jersey City.
Nothing like the density we have here. Mm-hmm. And they plan on putting a metering station just a few blocks from my house. A metering station that's going to release toxins into the air on a daily basis, affecting my health, affecting the health of my family, my friends, my community. It's absolutely ludicrous.
Well, and then to cap it off, if you are brave enough to stick around and hope that things work out okay, it's going to devalue your property. So that when it actually doesn't go okay, and when there are health problems showing up, and there is an explosion, then you can't even sell your house.
Right. No, absolutely. And the city's still trying to recover from all the chromium contamination all over the city. So last thing we need is to add more pollutants to the atmosphere.
Well, and let's tack on to that they're running the pipeline through some of the densest chromium sites in the city, and essentially creating a dirty bomb.
Right, absolutely. So have you guys been involved with the whole, nogaspipeline.org group and fighting this?
Yeah, I became aware of this entire issue a little over a year ago when I was asked to be an additional editor on a film called Gasland. And it's a documentary that exposes how hydrofracking is done throughout the United States and the health risks of that. And it really opened my eyes to how intense this issue is. Water is so important to us, yet we are just tossing away by doing all of the hydrofracking around the United States and the chemicals that we're tossing into the ground. What really terrified me was when I opened up the paper one day and they said they were bringing a pipeline through Jersey City. And I thought, I was just about to call my governor and ask him to speak out about hydrofracking, but now I need to call my governor and beg him to not have this pipeline come through my backyard. Right. So I don't want to blow up. I don't. And frankly, if they put the pipeline in, I will be selling my house, and hopefully I'll just be one of the first to know about it.
I don't know you'll be the first to know about it, but
you may be the first to act on it.
Absolutely. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. It is definitely a serious problem, and everybody's very much concerned about it. So hopefully this will be able to get the Attorney General to act on behalf of the citizens of Jersey City.
I hope so.
Yeah. So thank you so much for being on.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you for taking this on.
You're quite welcome.
We are now in the area of 14th Street to 18th Street on Jersey Avenue. This is the most undeveloped part of Jersey City, an old industrial area. Spectra Energy has placed their pipeline running along the Palisade Cliffs to my right here, underneath Christ Hospital, with the statement that they feel that this area is not going to be developed and it has no potential harm for anybody in the future. And that is where they're wrong. This area right now has approval for at least 438 units on the old Van Leer chocolate factory. Eventually, you will see a neighborhood rise here with parks, and you will see between 5,000 and 10,000 residential neighborhood apartments and condos. To the east, Newport owns property along 18th Street, where there will be a light rail stop and many new condos being put up. Marcy Boyle, the VP of Newport, stated to the representatives of Spectra Energy, telling them they're promising $40 million for over 20 years for the entire pipeline throughout Jersey City, where she can build one building on one of these sites and pay the same amount of money. Times that by an entire neighborhood, and we are blowing our very future of creating new residential neighborhoods out of old industrial wastelands, creating ratables to help pay for our police, fire, and schools. This is important. That is why we cannot afford to have the pipeline running through Jersey City.
With me, I have John, who is also a member of the coalition who's fighting this gas pipeline. So, John, as people become aware of it and they start fighting this, why would Spectra continue with this? Because it doesn't sound like a good thing for the people of Jersey City.
And it's not. And I think, it's like so many other things that we see today, it comes down to money. Spectra is a very successful, profitable company. They made $750 million last year. The contract that they've struck is with Con Ed. Con Ed made close to $1 billion last year. And the reason why we're staying here at the river is there's a viable alternative for the pipeline. That is to put it in the river. The reason why Spectra does not want to do that is the costs go up exponentially once you have to start laying the pipeline in the river. By taking the route that they've chosen, they only are in the water about 1 mile. By coming up through Staten Island, it's 4 to 5 miles, and you start to add another $10 to $20 million to the project. One interesting note is one of the major agencies, the Port Authority, who is affected by this, they said that Spectra was the only bidder who actually proposed to go through Jersey City. And by doing that, they were able to submit a much lower bid. And obviously that's a much more attractive situation for Con Ed. I know 10 years ago, my background is in the oil and gas industry. El Paso Corp, which is another big pipeline company, was working on a line that would have come down from up by the Tappan Zee and come all the way through the river. Obviously, much more money, but even the other industry players recognize that safety matters. And for Spectra to say that safety is a big concern of theirs when they want to build in the most densely populated part of the state is it's a non sequitur.
With me, I have Councilman Stephen Fulop of the downtown ward of Jersey City. So, Steve, tell me, what are your thoughts on the gas pipeline?
Since this was brought to us, it's obviously been a concern. It goes through 3 wards in the city. There's a safety concern, and more than anything else, there is absolutely no benefit to the residents of Jersey City here. We've been organizing the community. We have a terrific group that spearheaded it, nogaspipeline.org. The residents can go to the website. We need people to get involved, but the short answer is it's concerning, and we're ready to dig in and fight against it.
All right. So what can people do now?
So the city administration has said that they're going to declare in December intervenor status, which is an important thing from a federal standpoint in order to be heard. It's crucial that Governor Christie gets involved as well, and that at the state level they declare intervenor status as well. So what the public can do right now is that they can reach out to the administration. They can get all the information at nogaspipeline.org and ask Governor Christie and the state attorney general to declare intervenor status as well. It's important because in Connecticut, when the attorney general got involved there, same type of issue, they were successful. So the more pressure that we can put on from a public standpoint, the more possibility we have for success.
All right, fine. And what's the time frame for all of this? Like, when does this wrap up?
Well, we're looking to declare intervenor status in December and escalate the pressure significantly at the beginning of 2011. So there isn't a huge window of time, and we really need to get the public involved. So this stuff is very, very important.
Wonderful. So we heard it here. So please get involved. Check out their website. It has a wealth of information. I want to thank you for being on our show again.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure. You do terrific work.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So please tell your friends and neighbors about Talking Politics. We stream over 70 of our shows, and this one as well, on our website. And please get involved before it's too late. Thanks for watching. Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
So, Davin, do you come here a lot?
Yes, I play baseball here and I go to the park here.
Wonderful. So what do you think about the gas pipeline?
It's dangerous, and if it explodes, we'll die, and it's really dumb to build.
Oh, okay. So you're concerned about your health then and your security, right?
Yes.
So no gas pipeline?
No gas pipeline!
1, 2, 3.
No gas